Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to this game's tutorial. Today we actually keep modeling a little bit and we end up having this kind of scene going on, so it's not too bad. As you can tell, we can click say here to go to the war table, but it's not working just yet. But pretty much everything is set up. That's our 6 hub object we had. Over here is the ability. It's going to be like a rotating diamond, something like that. On the right is the research table, and then over here in the middle that would be the oops, that would be the tower stats. Actually, I just click on the old war table, and right here is the loots. The war table is right here, and this thing here would be the share center. It's like a poster. So guys, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're also going to be implementing it inside of Unity, and without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty then, so this episode we're going to be just creating the walls and also the floor. I've quickly imported that inside of Unity, try to have a feel of the scene a little bit, and this is what I ended up with. So we're going to have some kind of corridor going on. As you can tell, since we're in portrait mode, we can't really, put that on the wide axis. So we can't really have like things over here. Even though it would look better in 3D space, we have to just put everything inside of a corridor space. So what I was thinking about doing is having some kind of floor and then a second floor, because we really have to play with the height here, and not the width. So I'll go back inside of Blender really quickly, and I'll just do a Shift A, create a new plane mesh, and this is going to be my floor. So let me just position that right about there. Also put my cursor in the middle by hitting Shift C, and I will scale this up like that, and probably scale it more on the y-axis. So we're gonna end up with something like this. I'll just move it, say, past this point. And now what I said is we're gonna be playing with the other axis, with the y-axis. So I will be choosing my edges in edit mode, and just take this very edge right about there, and I'll just put that up. And we are going to just import it inside of Unity and have a look at how far we can go. I'm assuming maybe like 2 meters would be good, so I'll just manually input it. And then we can have another floor going on this axis. So that's the y-axis, like this. We can probably have something like that going on. Oh, that's probably a lot. Yeah, that is too much. So I'll just take the face and put the face back on 1 meter. Then we can have some stairs going up or something like that. Let's actually just have a look at this in the game. So I'll go up here, do a file. Oh, by the way, let's rename this object. This is the floor. So we're going to hit Control S to save the Blender file, then go under Export, FBX, and we're going to be exporting as a FBX inside of our artwork folder, which is something I've already done. So let's have a look at this in the game. Alright, so with a better lighting that I'm just going to adjust right now, we're going to end up with something like this. And as you can tell, our mesh, they're pretty much inside out as well, so we're going to need to flip the normal on those. But in terms of the placement of these objects, I think they're pretty much good. If we just say place a chest here, the research table could be on top. So somewhere in the back here, we can also elevate this camera. This is something more like this, pointing down. So something like this in the future that would be good, and also the war table would be right in the center here. Can be putting some stairs. We could be putting. As for the share center, I just want to be putting something on the wall, so some kind of like poster, and people can click on it. All right. So let's quickly have a look at what we need to flip. I know I'm doing things in a weird order, but that's just because it bothers me quite a lot. So the top of the table needs to, well, the whole table needs to be flipped, except the legs, and except this vial here. The first book is okay, the second book is not okay. And also the base of the chest is inside out. Same thing for this side. Alright, let's have a look at how to fix these. And in Blender, I think I'll just be leaving them all in the center, and I'll just reposition them when I need to. So this object, we said that the first book needs to be flipped, and also all the other faces. So I'll be choosing my faces mode. Select these two things, hit Control L, and then I need to flip this. How exactly should we go about flipping this? Okay, so it's right here. So you're going to be choosing all the objects, all the faces you need to flip. Then you're going to hit W and then flip the normals, which is simply going to flip the normals. Alright, so the next object we needed to do is the base of the chest. So let's move this guy over here. Go back in edit mode, if I can find it. And the whole base has to be flipped. So select one face, hit Control L, W, flip normals. We're going to save this, and finally the very last object we need to flip. It's the top of this table. So in edit mode, choose one, Control L, W, flip normals. Save this, and then you can export, have a better look at inside of Unity. And I really like the way it is so fast when you export. It's not like 3ds Max. Now I'm starting to like Blender. Just need to get used to it, but I'm starting to like it. So yeah, so that could be good. Of course, we're going to be extending the floor on this axis, on the x-axis. This way we don't actually see the end of it. So let me just go here, edit mode. I'll just choose all the faces, X, and scale it up like this. Having this done, we can now have a better look at how this is going to work out. Okay, so we might want to be having a wall somewhere in here. And can we play with the directional light a little bit so it's not as messed up? We definitely need some stairs going up, even though we don't, we're not really going to be using stairs. And we also need walls. Alright, so I'm going to select this object in edit mode, hit Control R, so we can actually cut. Let's cut it here. And we also need another cut, so I'll just be moving this over there. Let's have another cut on this object and move it right here. So it's pretty much just snapping to the grid. Almost snapping to the grid. Okay, so there we go. Now with this section we can actually start carving some stair in there. So what I will be doing is let's go ahead and just select this face. Let's remove it. Let's also remove that one. And we can go ahead and just grab this edge and start just pulling it upward. So pull it upward on the z-axis. Now say that a stair is going to be 0.15. Then we're simply gonna continue like that. So press E, Y. This is going to be 1.15. And we just keep on going like that. So that's the Z. 0.3. We extrude again. 1.3, and so on and so forth until we actually reach the proper height, which is 1. Alright. Oh, this one went a little bit too far. So what was my last? 1.3, so it has to be 1.45. And that's 0.6. And 1.6. We're almost done. So 0.75, and that would be 1.75. There has to be a way to do that faster. There's probably a way to do all the things I'm doing, but faster. I just haven't figured them out yet. Oops. So extrude this, that is 1.9. And here we go. So that's pretty much all we need to do. So the last one is not going to be the same. So it's only going to reach 1. And as for the other axis, it's going to go until the very end of our wall. In fact, we don't even need to do that. We're simply going to go in vertex mode and merge them together. So merge this one with this one, Alt M, Atlas. And finally, let's have a quick look at that in the game, see if it looks good or not. And this actually looks good, of course. I'm going to be moving this object, but you know, this could actually be looking good in the game. The research table could be somewhere here. We can have the poster on the very left side, and in the back would be like the tower upgrades or something. Okay, so let's add some sides to that. We're not going to be complicating things too much. I don't like to complicate things too much. Simply going to drag, well, take these two objects and pull them down. Like so. And might as well just put them on the right Z as well. There we go. Save. So the chest is going to be somewhere here, we said. The research table is going to be somewhere at the top. Now, what are the other objects we need? I said I'm going to be using some kind of poster for the share center, so I'll just be putting it right away around here. Let me just move that chest a bit to this side. And then I can start just creating a new object. I'm going to go and create a cube, but all I'm really going to be displaying is a mesh. Or maybe they could, yeah, this could be a frame. Alright. So let's go put that against the wall here. Resize it the way you wish. Remember, this is going to be a frame, so it's really, really thin. Maybe like that. Frame slash poster. And finally, scale on the Z-axis. There we go. And again, let's have a look at this in the game. Hopefully we can actually see it, because we don't have a texture just yet, so it's a little bit hard to see. Okay, we can make it more obvious with the color we're going to be choosing on the object, but it's here. And maybe even add some more lighting to the scene. But yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 objects. I think we have a menu of 6 if I can remember correctly. Oh, by the way, if you don't, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I just turned off all the mesh renderer. I didn't actually destroy the other objects. So the mesh renderer, here they are. We can toggle them back on. And what do we have here? We have a wire table that's done. The share center, it's done. The tower stats, that's something we need to do. Our research is done. The loots and ability, those are the two things. Well, loots, ability are the two things we need to fix right now. So in terms of ability, I want to be putting something maybe somewhere around the top side here, because that's really like the only places we've got left. So up here. And as for the tower stats, I'll just be putting like a tower in the center here. Now, I don't know how I'm going to be displaying this tower, but we'll find out. Alright, and we also need some walls, obviously. Alright, so as for the ability, I've chosen to do something a little bit out of the context a bit. It's going to be some kind of rotating diamond. I'm thinking about something with alpha on it. Just a diamond that rotates, just like the one you see on the cards, the playing cards. So a diamond like that, but it rotates. It's in 3D, obviously. And it's going to be having some kind of lightning effect on it. So it feels like if you touch it, something's going to happen. Kind of. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for. I'm going to hit a Shift A on the keyboard, then do a new... we could do a new cone. Let's actually go and do a new cylinder because I'm more familiar with that. So cylinder, I'll be putting that on 8 faces. Is that too much? Let's go with 4. Alright. Now with this object, I'll just be putting it at the appropriate place. I can actually just scale it. Have a feel of the actual object right away. So something like that. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'll go inside of edit mode, choose one of these face, hit Control R so I can cut it in the middle, and then I'll just collapse the faces on top of it and at the bottom of it. So select the top face, hit Alt M and merge at center. Same thing with the face below. Oops, got the wrong one. Alt M and merge at center. Alright, so let's go ahead and just choose the whole object and see what we can do with this. So if we go back in the view for a second, it has to be approximately, it doesn't have to go past this very point here. Now I know I'm just pointing stuff out on my cursor, it's really hard to tell, but I'm just kind of measuring with what I see, and it has to be like around there. we can scale it again on, I would only scale it on the z-axis at this point. Make it that big. Oops. And something of the sort, really. I feel like this could be looking good once it has like a rotation script on it and some effect around it. So like I said, lightning, greenish, you know, something really simple with a nice texture on it. So that cylinder we've got here is going to be the ability. And what is the cube? Oh, that's our poster. That's our share center. So share poster. And we just save this, export this as in FBX. We go to the scene and it should actually just be there. It's standing there, it's going to have a shadow, and what I feel like doing, like I said, since it seems to have a shadow, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be taking this, if I can find it, oh there, ability, and we'll just elevate it like that, and we're going to make it hover up and down and also rotate left and right. And now if you're wondering about how we're going to click on it, is it going to be like super hard to click on it because it's moving? The answer is no. We're going to be using box collider, and we can just really just do whatever we want with the box collider. They don't have to be there. They don't even have to be visible. So like this whole table, even if you click below it, you're still going to be hitting the box collider. Alright, and finally the last one is the tower. As for the tower, I'm going to keep that futuristic idea I had in my mind of just having an hologram of it. I don't really want to have like the whole tower just built there like a miniature of the tower. I was thinking about having some kind of base, and then on top of that base it would be like an hologram, and it would just rotate the tower and would be able to click on it. Plus whenever you zoom on that menu and actually have like the real tower stats menu popping, you can see that thing rotating in the background through the alpha of our panels. But anyway, without further ado, let's actually implement that, because I know I'm going to, I'm actually putting some really complicated words out there. I'm going to create a cylinder again. And we'll be putting that on, say, 8 axis. I'm going to be centering it in X, so it is right in the middle of the stairs. And that's going to be the base of my hologram. So that's going to be tower stats. Now, in edit mode, I'll take this, move it down, something like that, and we can actually just start creating that hologram. Well, not really. I mean, we can start just adding some more faces. So I'm going to hit E on the keyboard, then S to scale it inward, and we can go do something of the sort and pull it down, then in the center, and that's our base right here. That's the base of our hologram. Right, is it still in the center? It feels like it is. So I'm going to grab the whole thing and just pull it down. And also pull it towards this side. Now in the middle of it, like I said, is going to be the other piece. So that's the tower stats. I'm actually going to call it the tower stats base. And we're going to have another object, which is going to be the one that rotates. Because on my script, I want this to be rotating, but I don't want to rotate the base of the hologram, of course. So this could even be part of the floor. But anyway, let's go back, create a cube this time. That is just going to be a miniature of our tower, like we said. And it's going to be right in the center, scale it down, of course. And I feel like actually, I don't know if I should do this. Maybe what we could do is go back in our scene and actually take the tower object, because we know it's going to be there. We know the tower object is always there. No matter what, in any scenes we are, there is always this tower. Here it is. So maybe we should be taking this, because this actually has some correct scaling values. And I feel like this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using this, and we're just going to have like a special material for that scene where it looks like an hologram with some transparency on it. Yep, it is decided. So now I'm really wondering, should we move this object? I don't think we should move, because there's a lot of thing binded to it. So what we'll do is we'll just move the whole scene around it. So the center of the scene is going to be right here in the middle. Alright, so let's just delete the ideas I had a moment ago, and we're going to go back to, this is the tower stats. Alright, Now we are going to go ahead and just make sure that this is in the very center of the world, like so. Well, almost. And we're just going to be putting the whole scene around it. So let's go ahead and just clean everything up. I'm going to be cleaning pretty much everything up. So I'll do a Control A, apply rotation and scale to every object we have. Like this. That includes the floor and the poster. Now for every single one of those, I'll do a set origin to the let's go ahead and do the center, the origin of the geometry, and we're just going to be putting them all on 0. Everything is on 0. And origin of geometry, go back on 0. We're pretty much just doing that to clean everything up, so whenever we import this inside of Unity, it is not messed up. Okay, so there's a few things we need to change again, but like adding walls, that would be a good thing. But first, let's quickly have a look at what we can get inside of the game by having this. So pretty much everything is imported now. We should be able to go inside of the hub scene. I'm going to delete what I have and just drag and drop this into a new scene. Well, not a new scene, but you know, right here. Now this is what we get. The camera is somewhere in front because we always said that we put the camera like over there so it doesn't actually see the tower. But now we do want to see the tower. So what we'll do is just by moving the camera, nothing is really going to happen. What we need to move is the default waypoint actually. So what I feel like doing is start just setting up our scene around this point, and we'll go from there. So let's actually just take all the object, put them down a little bit. I'm going to find the base, which is right here. That's the base of the tower, and we're going to be putting it right here. Quickly launch the game, see if it does fit what we want it to fit, and it actually does. Now in terms of scaling, I think what we're going to be doing is just force a scaling of 1 in X and 1 in Z for this scene, and then we can go back to whatever the hit point gives us. And that's also a bug we have to address in the future, how the hit point modify your width. And yeah, so we'll just be checking that out a little bit later on. Having that said, we are going to just increase the size of the tower stats just a bit like that, and then try to launch it, see if it makes a little bit more sense inside of the hub scene, and it does. So this thing is going to be moving left and right, and it's also going to be resized at the beginning of the scene. Having this said, we can go back in the hub scene, just make sure that everything matches this object. So we're going to start with the floor. Floor is going to be somewhere right here, and to have a better view on this, what we really need to have right now is the camera. So we'll just pull this main camera towards us and have a look at what we do have from this point of view. Yep, so something like that. And now this transform right here, what I'll do is I'll right click on the transform, copy the component, and apply it to the default waypoint by doing a paste component value. Now the default waypoint is always going to be right here, so when we start the scene, this is what we should actually be seeing. And it is. Plus the tower is actually in the middle, so that's good. Let's actually start laying down our other objects around that. So right here I'm thinking about the ability. Let's just go ahead and put it up here. Oops. Move it towards this side. And that's going to be rotating on its own, like we said. Now the next thing we want is the chest. Let's go take the chest. We can put it up here. Why not? It has a weird rotation on it, but we can fix it later on if we wish to. Alright, so there it is. The research table. Just pull it up, and we're going to be putting it, I think that it's kind of weird we put it here. Maybe you want to put it sideways, but then again it's going to be hard to click. Maybe something like that, and we'll just put the wall right behind it. Yeah, we're going to be wrapping the wall right around that. Alright. And finally, the tower. Not finally, but, well, let's put the wire table. This one is the easiest to click. It should be right in the center, and there it is. Right about there. I think the lighting is a bit messed up, but we can of course check this out once we're done with this. And finally the poster. Oh, the poster is inside out. Alright, let's fix that in a moment. Back in Blender, we're going to be taking our share poster, which is right here. Select all the faces in edit mode. And W, flip normals. I wonder if we save and it's over here, is it going to modify the position of it? It is not, so we pretty much just place everything, and I think we're fine of just, changing stuff inside of Blender. I think we're fine just changing stuff in Blender and not having it interfere with the position we just put. So back here we can go and choose the floor this time, and actually just start raising a wall with this side, I believe. I'm going to be taking all these three here, and I'll just be, maybe not all the three, I'll just forget this one here. And I'll be pulling that up, like so. And quickly have a look at what it gives us in the game. What I think we're going to have to do is actually just pull them a little bit inward. And we're simply going to pull that inward, so I'll just be moving, whoop, I have duplicates. Okay, that kind of sucks. We just delete all of these, delete faces, and we're just going to take all of these, go inside just like that a bit, and then we can, is that enough? I think that's just fine. Then we can take these two faces and just pull them up. Again, let's quickly test this out before we fix our mesh. And it doesn't look that bad actually, it looks pretty good. Alright, so I'll go with something like this, and I'm also thinking about having a roof. I think that could be cool. Now the roof has to be right about there, I believe, to make sense at least. And then we can go ahead and just merge some vertices together. So this one and this one. Alt M, Atlas. I'm going to take the Z and just apply it to the very last vertex here. Alright. Having this done on one side, I think we can actually duplicate it on the other side. And I wonder if we can actually really just use a mirror. That would be even better. So what I'll try to do here is go in edge select mode, take this part here, just create a seam right in the middle of it, and now we'll be deleting this whole size over here. Delete faces, also delete this face. And I'm going to try and add a mirror modifier to that by pressing somewhere. I think it's over here, add modifier, okay, mirror. And here we go. It's already duplicating it on the x-axis, that's what I want. Right, I'm going to save this, export in the game again, and this is kind of result we get, so we can actually see this working fine, I think. We can raise the roof a little bit and just close it. And I'm just going with the feel right now, I really have nothing planned out. But I guess you could tell that already. If you're new to the channel, that's pretty much how it goes. Alright. Export, FBX. Hey, this is actually not bad, I like that. And we can have some kind of window and then like the background somewhere there. I'm actually liking this quite a lot, and I will be sticking to it. Alright guys, so that's enough of Blender for today. In the next episode, we're going to actually go in the game and actually make this work, because right now we're still on the old waypoint system and we don't really want that. So in the next episode, we're just going to be like replacing what we've had before to this new scene. And yeah, so we can start actually doing something with this scene. Guys, thanks so much for watching, I hope you learned something, and if you did, and if you don't hate me too much, then please leave me a like. Really appreciate that, really helps out the channel quite a lot, and also the Patreon does help out the channel quite a lot, so if you want to check that out as well, there's a reward of course. If any comment or question, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. However, it is faster to reach me via Facebook, so all the links of the stuff I've mentioned are in the description below, and I will be seeing you guys in the next episode.